The sun was setting, casting a soft golden hue over the village as Golden Heart made his way to Amy's hut. He had spent the day thinking about her, about the moments they had shared, and how much she carried within her. She was strong. He could feel it. But there was a sadness she hadn't fully revealed. He wanted to help, to show her that she wasn't alone. In his hoof, now a hedgehog hand, he clutched a small gift, something that had been with him for a long time. It was a simple golden pendant, shaped like a delicate heart, with intricate engravings that symbolized peace and renewal in his world. He knew it carried meaning, but more than that, it was a gesture, a way to show Amy that he truly cared. As he approached her hut, Golden Heart hesitated for a moment. Would she accept it? Would she think it was too much? With a deep breath, he knocked softly on her door.
Who is it?
Amy's voice came from inside, calm but curious.
It's me, Golden Heart.
He called out gently. There was a pause before the door creaked open, revealing Amy standing there. She looked at him with her usual guarded expression, but there was a hint of warmth in her eyes.
Hey, Golden Heart, everything okay?
Golden Heart smiled softly, holding up the small pendant in his hand.
I wanted to give you something.
He said, his voice sincere.
I know we haven't known each other for long, but I've been thinking about you and I wanted you to have this.
Amy's eyes widened slightly as she looked at the pendant, clearly taken aback by the gesture. She reached out cautiously, her fingers brushing against the cool surface of the gold as she took it from his hand. For a moment, she just stared at it, her expression unreadable.
It's beautiful.
She whispered, her voice almost fragile.
But why? Why are you giving me this?
Golden Heart met her gaze, his eyes filled with sincerity.
I know you've been going through something heavy. And I don't want to push you to talk about it if you're not ready. But I want you to know that you don't have to carry it alone. This pendant, it's a symbol of hope and renewal where I come from. I thought, maybe, it could remind you that no matter how hard things get, there's always a way forward.
Amy looked down at the pendant again, her fingers tracing the intricate engravings. There was a vulnerability in her expression that Golden Heart hadn't seen before, as if his words had touched something deep within her.
Thank you,
she said quietly, her voice barely above a whisper. She looked up at him, her eyes softening.
But where did you get this? I've never seen anything like it around here.
Golden Heart felt his heart skip a beat. He hadn't anticipated the question, and for a moment he was unsure of what to say. He couldn't tell her the truth. Not yet. She didn't know that he was from another world, and he wasn't ready to reveal that side of himself just yet. He smiled softly, trying to keep the conversation light.
It's just something I've had for a long time. A special piece from a place close to my heart. I thought you might need it more than I do.
Amy studied him for a moment, clearly sensing there was more to the story, but she didn't press. She simply nodded, her fingers still clutching the pendant as if it was something precious.
I don't know what to say,
she murmured, her voice trembling slightly.
No one's ever given me something like this before.
Golden Heart stepped closer, his tone gentle and reassuring.
You don't have to say anything. I just wanted you to know that I care about you, Amy. I see your strength, but I also see the weight you carry. You're not alone.
Amy's eyes glistened for a moment, and she quickly looked away, her voice shaky.
I don't usually let people in like this.
She admitted, her vulnerability finally breaking through.
I've been hurt before, and it's just easier to keep people at a distance.
Goldenheart nodded, his heart aching for her.
I understand. It's hard to trust after being hurt, but you're stronger than you realize. And it's okay to let people in, even if it's just a little at a time.
Amy looked back at him, her guard lowered for the first time. There was something in her eyes, something raw and real. She clutched the pendant tightly in her hand, as if holding onto the small hope it represented.
I guess maybe I've been pushing people away because I'm scared.
She said quietly.
But maybe I don't want to be alone anymore.
Goldenheart smiled gently, his voice soft.
You don't have to be.
They stood in silence for a moment, the weight of their words lingering between them. Amy's walls, built so carefully over time, seemed to crack just a little, and Goldenheart could see the kindness and warmth beneath the layers of hurt.
I'll keep this close.
Amy said finally, holding the pendant to her heart.
Thank you, Goldenheart, for this and for everything.
Goldenheart's smile deepened, and he felt a warmth spread through his chest.
You're welcome, Amy. I'm just glad you're letting me in.
Amy gave him a small, genuine smile in return.
I think I'm glad too.
As the sun continued to set, casting a warm glow over the village, they stood there together, sharing a quiet but powerful moment. Goldenheart knew that he couldn't heal all of Amy's wounds, but in that moment he felt like he had given her something more important, hope. And as Amy turned to go back inside, she glanced over her shoulder, her voice soft but filled with a new sense of trust.
Good night, Goldenheart.
Good night, Amy.
He replied, his heart full as he watched her disappear into her hut. As the evening air grew cooler, Goldenheart stayed for a moment longer, gazing at the door. He felt a deep connection to Amy, and he knew that no matter what, he would stay by her side, helping her find her way through the darkness. For now, that was enough.